Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Fireside Creators. I am your host, Reverend Dr. Sherry Pallas, and this week we are speaking on gratitude. It's really tough to maintain gratitude during difficult times, and so I know that I can always use a refresher, and I hope you can too. If you are joining us on YouTube, be sure to hit that like and subscribe. If you are on Facebook, be sure to register a StreamYard so I know who I'm talking to when you make a comment or a question. Remember, this is a safe space. I want to thank our sponsors. We have Ruth, Ray, Michelle, Kirsten, Tim, and Heidi. Thank you so much for continuing to support the show. Your support means everything to me. If you would like to support the show, you can do so for as little as $3 a month at Patreon, or you can buy some swag at Cafe Press. You can find it all on my website at sherrypallas.com. I want to thank all of you for being here and inviting me into your homes and into your life today. I really appreciate it, and I hope you get a lot out of this show. Okay, so for our panel, we have a new person joining the fireside chat. We have Ava. Ava is a psychic coach, cosmic energy healer, and teacher, Reiki Master, and has been a psychic reader and life coach to the stars for the past 20 years. She also helps clients unblock stuck energies and bring abundance. As a manifesting coach and published author, she helps individuals and groups shift their thoughts to attract the life that they want. Welcome, Ava.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining.
How are you today, Sherry?
Yes, exactly. I am grateful for your appearance.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. And next we have, last but definitely not least, you know her quite well if you have been following the show. We have Reverend Michelle Saveco. She is a PhD and retired, but continues to serve by sharing reflections, music, meditation, spiritual counseling, and more with open-hearted, open-minded, inclusive individuals, groups, churches, and centers. She also facilitates rhythm drum circles. Reverend Shell focuses on new thought teachings and practices, universal principles, celebrating everyone as individual expressions of the one, and honoring all loving past and people. She identifies as new thought, practical and positive Christian, coming from a very diverse background, but is pluralistic in her approach to spirituality. It's a miracle I get through that without being tongue-tied. Hello, Michelle. How are you today?
You should have it memorized by now.
I really should, but I don't. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm grateful to be here.
3 weeks in a row, you are getting the hello, David. Hello, Miss Jamie O. You are getting the VIP. You're going to become co-host status at this point. It's getting there. But thank you both so much for joining today. I wanted to talk about gratitude because we are going through some pretty tough times right now. And there's a lot of pain and hopelessness in the world. There's a lot of death. And there's a lot of people struggling, whether it be with inflation, gas prices, family units, you name it. So I know that I have struggled to be grateful during really tough times. And I wanted to kind of throw it out there because I'm sure if I'm doing it, there's other people out there that also have issues with this. So I wanted to talk to you guys and see what some of your tricks and tips are for staying grateful and during tough times and why it's so important. Ava, let's start with you.
So as psychic reader, as a life coach and a manifestation coach, I have learned that when you give a lot of gratitude, you attract a lot more abundance. And in general, things open up for you. As I do work with the light, I have learned specifically in the last 2 years, and unfortunately we're in the same cycle of, we have fears and we're like attacked or blocked with fears and whatnot. So I learned that sometimes it's great for you to disconnect from social media or from anything that is really, harming you, and just count your blessings. For example, be grateful that, what you have, like starting with the little things, that you are healthy, that you are being taken care of, provided you have a roof over your head, you are thankful for your job. And I learned that the more things you give, the more gratitude you give, the more positivity and new abundance you attract into your life. That is easier said than done.
Oh yeah.
And it's a daily process. It's a daily struggle, and it's okay if you have a bad day. It's okay. It's okay to stay in bed, if you're off or have nothing else to do, and just watch TV, like binge on your favorite show or something. Do things that make you feel good, and be
Yeah.
thankful for them, and be thankful for the people that you have. When you start with little things, everything else switches within an instant, basically. And that's the one thing that I've learned, that the more gratitude I give, the more positive attitude I get from my whole environment.
I started a gratitude list that I do
Love it.
almost every morning. Some days I'm just not up to it. But it really changed my thinking because I demand at least 10 things to be grateful for each morning. And when I first started doing it, it was really a struggle to find those types of things, to be on the lookout for things that I was grateful for. So in doing so, it actually changed the way I thought because I didn't want to struggle every morning. So throughout the day, I was actually looking for things to be grateful for, literally changing my thought patterns, looking as opposed to, oh my God, this is overwhelming, focused on, the heaviness of life. I was looking for, oh, that's awesome. I can write that down on my list tomorrow.
Exactly.
It started with a struggle, and because I wanted to avoid it, it turned into the changing the patterns of the way I think. It was awesome. Michelle, what do you do?
Yeah.
You mentioned a couple times changing your thought patterns and changing the way you think. And I think as a new thought minister, one of the most important things to me is that people realize that everything begins with thought.
Yeah.
And then from that thought, you get a feeling. And then from that feeling, you act or you speak or whatever. And everything is meant to work in alignment with those thoughts in order for them to materialize. And going back about 35 years, I took a class on Christian mystics. And one of them was Meister Eckhart. And I had read about, a quote that really stuck with me where he said, if the only prayer you ever say is thank you, that's enough. And so I would find myself, and this was in kind of a difficult period, but that was something that had just really struck a nerve with me. And so I would find myself walking around during the day and I'd be like, where is this? And then I would find it and I'd be like, thank you, God. And just more and more was walking around saying thank you. Within probably a year or so of that, I started where I would find 5 things in the morning to be grateful for. And then at the end of the day, 5 things to be grateful for that had gone on through the day. Whether it was to have a visit from somebody, see somebody, something I got in the mail, something I saw on TV, it didn't matter what it was, but those 5 things. And one of the things that we also know is that everything is energy. It just all vibrates at a different rate.
Yeah.
And to me, gratitude and love are the 2 things that have the highest energy. So whenever we're being grateful, we're like up here on our energy level. And I think that's just really important.
Right?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
It forces us to align to the universal divine, the flow.
Yes, because we are coming from that high level of energy at that point. And for me, sometimes, she talked about the little things. I wrote a song called The Bun Dance. A bun dance. And you shake your buns while you're singing the song, doing the dance of gratitude. But it talks about birds singing, cakes baking, the smell of a baby, just a lot of things that we take for granted that are all things to be grateful for. And so sometimes there are mornings or evenings where the main thing I'm grateful for is life. And then after that, I might draw a blank and be like, electricity, running water,
Yeah.
Indoor plumbing, and I might get down to just really the basics because I can't really think of anything else in that moment. But I think, when we take the time and set the intention to feel gratitude and that thankfulness, we can always find things to be thankful for.
Well,
The and I'll wait until a little later, but I did want to share a story because I know somebody on the page had, mentioned how sometimes it's really hard, and it was probably the most difficult time that I had, but I was put in a position that I had to find what to be grateful for. So a little later on, I can share that with you all if you want to hear about that.
well, and I think that's the point, right? Is because I mean, there have been times where I struggled. I have a standard top four, right, of things to be grateful for. My dogs, this show, my book, those types of easy. Those four things come up super easy. Coming up with the other six when my heart is breaking, when the world is just too much at that point, you really do have to become present. You have to become present to try and find what you are grateful for. And it would come down to blue skies,
Mhm.
birds singing.
Well, what about your senses?
Yeah.
Things like
Yeah.
sight, touch,
Wow.
um,
Okay.
yeah, anything like that. And then I like the sixth sense is my favorite, which is sense of humor.
There
But
you go.
you have your senses to be grateful for, and sometimes you don't appreciate them. After going through chemo, I ended up with some neuropathy in my fingers,
Mm.
and it makes it awkward to hold the pen and a knife and things like that. And it was something, the sense of touch wasn't necessarily that I really thought about that much. I took it for granted.
Wow.
Now I don't. So you can always resort to things like that too. And the most important thing, and it's like if you have to start out not really feeling it and just saying the words, that's okay,
Mhm.
because it's a matter of it becoming a practice. But when it really starts to work in your life is when you have the intention and you really have the feeling behind it.
That's true. That's true. As in manifestation or as in gratitude, giving gratitude, in order for you to manifest, you need to be grateful for first and foremost.
Mm.
So if you're grateful, you attract a lot more into your life. And even if it's the little things, I, I have my days. The last 2 months have been a little bit challenging for me. And then I started just saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to do a gratitude situation where I list, what I'm thankful for in the morning, and at night I manifest. Therefore, because I did feel good when I did the gratitude, that's how I manifest at night or in the evening before I go to bed, because it's the best time to manifest. They say before the sleep. Um, it's a give and take, and even if you have a bad day, if you're just grateful to be alive, to be healthy, to be sheltered, if you have sunshine, we're in California here, obviously, right? Sherry.
Yeah.
Even if it's just the sunshine of the birds and the little dogs and cats and just the animals, whatever it is, even anything small will change you, and it's going to help you manifest. It's going to help you. Even with gratitude, you're radiating a different aura, and then people
Mhm.
come towards you, and then they open up towards you. Sometimes we'll have our days where, like, don't talk to me, right? When you're on
Of
the street,
course.
if you're walking through the street with gratitude, then your aura changes, and people are more likely to smile at you, to greet you, to have a chat with you.
Which for everyone in the audience is how I met Ava today. She is actually my neighbor. So, and we started talking, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm having a show on gratitude. You have to come on tonight." So, it's putting it out there. It
Well, we're
is,
thankful for your dog, the little Ewok.
yeah. My dog,
As
who,
I call her, the guardian of our street.
yeah, all 11 pounds of her.
He is one pile of love.
Yes. But I mean, I really like the at night, because that is something that I haven't been doing. Most of the nights I'm passing out, falling asleep. But I do look for some type of meditation when I do struggle with sleeping, my mind's
Yeah.
going, those types of things. I never thought of doing a manifestation or a gratitude list at night, only in the morning.
You know, it because I've been working for a very long time with clients. I mean, it's been like 7 years full time doing, psychic life coaching work and manifestations. And as a healer, I remove any blockages. So I bring in positivity as I work with the light, right? So I had it many, many times where I trained them, and that's how it trained me to, help people and myself. When you remove negativity and you infuse positivity, right? As in manifestors, so I give them baby steps because people are confused. There's so much on information we give them. Sometimes it's just, them having to write down. So I tell them, start in the morning, and if you can, do something at night, and even if it's just 5 instead of 10 points you want to do. But there's a psychology to it because it makes you feel positive when you wake up. Let's say you manifest wealth, right? Wealth can be health. It could be, of course, the dream job, or financial wealth,
Relationships.
relationship, which is very important. And for some people, really, it's health. So those three things: money, love, and health, is like the main thing. So in order for you to manifest that, you need to think of as it is already. You don't think I want something in the future, right? You think you are this person already. So when it makes you feel a certain way, just you said earlier, Michelle, just like you mentioned, it's when you feel grateful for, you have internet, or you have a TV, or you have like electricity, which some people right now don't have at this point, right? And when we have that and we radiate that, makes us go into sleep in a different, it's just a different psychology, and it makes you feel different when you go into sleep, and makes you feel more positive, and you sleep lighter and brighter. And if you have your dreams in the morning, you wake up usually with a smile. I learned that if you, through all the day, even if it's 5 things that you are grateful for, repeat them. Like, let's say you start in the morning, and then, for lunchtime, and then again at night. Once you have this habit, it will change you. It might be difficult to keep up every day, but it will change you for the better. They say it's a 21-day cycle. So in order for you to get something going, you need 21 days. And that's like harder. It's easier said than done. It's a lot harder than people think to be 21 days straight, going into bed and doing manifestation where you affirm, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am this, I am that. And then in the morning you wake up and you say, I'm grateful for my health, grateful for my wealth, grateful for my love life, for the partner that I have, or for the job and the money that I'm making. We have our days, but if you learn like step by step, little things go a long way.
That's why they call it a practice.
Yeah.
Because it isn't a one and done.
Yes,
and it does take a while to get into a routine. As many years as I've been doing it now, it's second nature. If I didn't do it first thing in the morning and got distracted, my body would feel there's something missing and be, oh yeah, this is what I need to do. And
it's like imprinted in your DNA.
Yeah.
It's a process, and people give up when it gets hard. And when it gets hard, it's because fear and negativity is trying to block you, because you're a positive person, you're trying to be positive. So, and then, in addition, once you have it in, you don't want to ever stop. It's like saying a prayer, doing a healing. If you are a regular, if you pray daily, or, if you do healing every day, whatever it is, if you have a practice, it feels like something's missing.
We have a ton of bad habits in our lives. The goal is to establish some good habits, and this is definitely one of them. What I did because I when I first started doing the list, it was completely and wholly inconvenient. I didn't have a piece of paper with me. I didn't have a book. I forgot it. So I got an app on my phone. I got a diary app on my phone. And so that's how I do it. So my phone's always with me. Before I check social media, before I check my text messages, before I check my email, I'm doing that gratitude list. That's what, and when it becomes the habit, then it does become second nature. And like I said, then it really changes your thought patterns. It does. One of my favorite sayings is attitudes are contagious, is yours worth catching? And when
That's
you
a good
have
one.
an attitude of gratefulness, it is. It really is.
Well, and
Sharing that.
at some point you'll get to the point where you don't even need to write down your list. You'll wake up in the morning and the first thing you'll do is give thanks. And while you're still just laying there, waking up and being grateful. So you want to hear my story now?
Yes.
Okay. So 6 years ago, the Sunday prior to Thanksgiving, I was going to be doing a reflection for one of the Moravian services where we used to live. Moravian.
What is that?
It's a Christian denomination that's been around for hundreds of years. You might have seen the Moravian cookies. They sell them all around. But so anyway, I was going to be doing it, and the scripture was in all things give thanks, because, obviously Thanksgiving was a few days later. So my reflection was about that, and talking about how not just the things that you want to do, you like to do, you enjoy and stuff like that, but all things. That included things you didn't want to do, things you didn't like, stuff like that. Yeah, because in all things, give thanks. So that was fine. It went well. About midnight that night, my body decided it was going to have a massive heart attack. And Chuck had to call the paramedics. They took me to the hospital. Found out when I got there, I was basically unconscious. But the first thing that I said when I regained consciousness was, how am I going to find something to be grateful for in this? Couldn't imagine what it was going to be. And within a couple seconds, it was like, life. You didn't die. You have life. You have a medical team that made sure you stayed alive. You're grateful for them. You're grateful for the facilities. You're grateful for all of the different instruments that are going to be used during this process of whatever's going to go on, because at that point, they had no idea what was going to have to go on. Did find that I had what I thought was a cold, but it was a respiratory infection. And it took them 5 days or 6 days that they had to clear that up before they could even try to figure out what was going on with my heart. It ended up being that I needed actually quadruple bypass, but one of them healed itself. So it ended up being a triple bypass instead, and a valve replacement. But it was probably one of the biggest challenges, if not the biggest challenge, being able to say, okay, how am I going to find something to be grateful for? And I figured if I could do it for that circumstance, I could probably do it for just about anything. And I say just about anything because even though I know we're spiritual beings, we're having a human experience. And in our humanness, when we lose somebody that we love, whether it's through death or whatever, that is the one area that, unless the person was suffering, that I do have trouble finding something to be grateful for in that instance.
Well, one of the things that drives me crazy is the everything happens for a reason line, especially when you're going through the trauma and the pain. Gratitude does that. When, in experiencing your heart attack and experiencing those types of things, it may not have happened for any reason other than your body did that. But being able to have gratitude, changing it into a purpose to be able to help others, to be able to learn from it, that's when you add the purpose to everything happening.
Well, and the doctors, and there were a bunch of them because they were dealing with both the respiratory issues and the heart issues and kidney issues, like all at the same time. But essentially, they said that it was my attitude that helped me to heal so fast and get out of there quicker than I was supposed to. And I've had this past spring, one of the nurses in the cardiac ICU, when I ended up in there, said I should do a TED Talk for patients because she's like, the attitude that you have is just like amazing.
Your attitude is contagious and it's worth catching.
Well, and I do think, the biggest things are having the gratitude, finding that space, and the other one is love, because nurses are so used to people giving them a hard time about everything under the sun, and I just kind of joke around with them and give them some attention. And
well, I've seen a lot of people, just to add to your story, and I feel it's amazing what you've been through and your positive attitude and gratitude. So, and we need more of you. I'm just we need to clone you.
And my husband would probably say, no.
Yeah. Like, come on now.
She's mine. But I think a lot of patients or clients that, had come from a little bit more challenged situations, and some of them did have cancer or other sickness. And when I helped them remove negativity through healing and, just positive attitude, when they changed into a positive state of mind, what happened was they attracted positive things. And I've seen people having cancer and being more grateful, and talking themselves into, hey, I'm healthy every day. And they clear of cancer or clear of sickness. I've seen a lot of people, even with me, I've seen a lot of things that were not always 100%. I thankfully never had cancer, but I always think of myself, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, right? And wealth is health and, not just financial gains. So when you say I'm thankful for my health, even that is going to put it out to the universe that a lot of things cannot happen. Of course, we should all eat healthier.
Yeah.
And yeah. Sometimes it's family, sometimes it's just the family tree, the history tree of, what sickness they have, if it's, diabetes or blood pressure or heart failures. But usually when you give gratitude, if you're sick, it helps you heal faster and a positive mind. And if you cannot do so, get yourself people who will help you be positive.
One of the things that the last 5 years have been the toughest of my life. And in looking back, I lived with so much fear. Whether it be, how am I going to support myself in myself going through cancer? How am I going to get back on my feet? Where am I going to live? All of these things that were going on in my life. And the one thing in looking back that I regret is letting it succumb me, because the tears, the anger, the pain, the worry, none of that changed anything. The only thing that changed was my attitude. Either I let that day own me and my fear own me and not be grateful for anything, can be completely overwhelmed, not loving life, not wanting any of those things, because there was no gratefulness. There was no, oh my God, I have a place to live. Oh my God, my rent's going to be paid this month, even though I could not see how it would happen. When I quit my job, I had enough money for 1 year in conjunction with my fiance and my son. Both of them were gone within 6 months. And I was on my own. Everything, I set this plan up. I had plan A, B, and C, and nothing worked out. But everything worked out. I was never homeless. I never lacked a meal, but there were days that I couldn't get out of bed because I was so afraid. And in looking back, those were wasted days. Had I been able to change my attitude to a point of gratefulness and looking what I had as opposed to what I lost or what I could lose, it wouldn't have made it such a tough 5 years.
But you did learn something from it.
Oh, I learned so much.
And one of the things that you learned is that you're not going to waste that time anymore.
Yes.
And a lot of people wouldn't get that. They would just continue in the same vein.
I'm still learning it. I don't think that I've learned it because there's still some days that I go,
yeah. So I've learned that.
Well, it is, they say it's like the cha-cha sometimes. You take 2 steps forward and 1 step back.
True, and I am a master.
So I've learned that fear is one of, the how is one of those fear actors. Like, if we keep on asking how, it's not going to happen. So that's the fear that we're getting. And a lot of people need to understand that if we ask about the how is this going to happen? How I'm going to get from A to B? Well, you're going to get there somehow. Just see the end picture. And I think
we don't need to know how.
Yeah.
Any more than I need to know how my electricity works.
Yeah, they're like, how? And I'm
like, but like,
thing. You just need to see the end picture.
Yeah.
And God or universe or whatever we believe in is going to take care of it. And that's what matters. I catch myself lately because, again, the earth is right now, there's a whole filter of fear that we need to all get rid of, mostly attached to the solar plexus. And that's the self-love, self-worth, self-confidence. So we need to get rid of the fear. We need to get rid of the how and just know it's happening. Just like, in the book, The Secret or whatever other...
I was going to say a vision board. It sounds very vision board.
Yeah, it is. But the main thing is you need to cut the how. I've done this too long and I've learned, and I learned with my clients that, when we cut the how, the fear goes away. And all of a sudden, everything falls into place. And it's just, it's a journey. And we need to also embrace the journey to how we get there, actually. Sometimes it's beautiful, like the detours we take.
The analogy I use for the how is that you don't need to know how your electricity works. Mm-hmm. You know that all you have to do is go over and flip the switch. And as long as you paid your bill, you're going to get your lights or your TV or whatever it is. You don't need to know how it works. So we don't have to ask how. So the next time you're thinking to yourself, but how am I going to do that? Remember, I don't have to know the how. All I have to do is flip that switch.
And trust in the process.
Yeah, that's what comes back to faith, because when we flip that switch, we have faith that it's going to turn on. We don't know how it works. We don't know the back ends. We just have faith that it's going to turn on.
Yeah.
And that's it's faith over fear, right? You can't, the two don't go aside. Love and fear don't go to each other. So to overcome our humanity, our natural instincts to be afraid takes work. And it's conscious decisions. It's not just something that you're going to go, okay, well, it's 3:00. I'm in a good mood now.
And I don't think it's natural for us to be fearful. Look at little kids. They're fearless. They were taught fear. And so it's a matter of having to undo it.
True. It's true.
And something else that I wanted to make sure that everybody that listens really got when Eva was talking was when she's talking about prosperity, or any of us are, that doesn't mean just money.
Yeah.
There's a lot of prosperity teachings going on that it's only about money. Real prosperity is when you have good, healthy relationships. Mm-hmm. You have your health. And, all the other things like that. Yeah.
Exactly. I agree with you. People think it's always money. When I teach abundance, I talk about health, because that's number one. If you don't have health, you
don't have anything.
And
yeah.
then relationships, even if you don't have a relationship, you have relationship with your mother, father, brother, sister, with your kids,
friends.
Friends. So this is another cycle, right? So, and then eventually down the line, the manifestation of wealth, of the belongings and the materialistic things are coming. But money comes and goes. Wealth is always here to stay. That's why it's better to say, hey, I'm wealthy, I'm healthy, I'm abundant, I'm loved. if you want to prosper, you're not going to prosper alone, right? You need to have people who support you. So who's that? Your relationships.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and wealth is subjective, because the homeless people around here could feel very wealthy because they have a place to sleep that night, because they
Yeah.
have something to keep them warm. While
Mhm.
Bill Gates, may not sometimes feel very wealthy, as he's losing his family and all of these things. So wealth is completely subjective and should be tied to something within yourself, as opposed to something material that could be lost anyway.
A lot of rich people or wealthy people, as in financially abundant, are very unhappy, and you can see
Yeah.
that usually on their faces. And some of them deal with health issues. Other ones have problems with relationships they cannot trust, and sometimes has to do also with your own persona, right? You usually attract what you give out into the world, so you get your mirror reflection back for the most part. And in order for you to be in abundant in general, you have to be a good being for yourself. I'm not saying you have to be holy, but you should be a good person for your own benefit. Treat people the way you want to be treated. That's how also a gratitude comes out. Those are the things that there's a base that you build in order for you to receive the abundance that you want.
The foundation.
The foundation, yeah, there's a base, a foundation. And when you I treat people the way I want to be treated. Sometimes when people are really not that nice and just it's just having a bad day, whatever it is, but if people are not nice, usually I block them. I don't even go into to their level. I'm not going to go beneath me. So
Mhm.
if you have your gratitude and your positive attitude, and somebody comes and gives you flips you off or whatever it is, they're having a bad day, you just like you can just shield that out and just move along. Don't even go into anything what other people have. And yes, we should be more grateful, because they have homeless people have it a lot harder, and yet they have sometimes a phone in their hand, or like they have food and they have a place to stay. And here we are having one world problems, first world problems, where we think like, oh, I don't have the BMW when I have a Mazda or whatever it is, right?
I haven't gotten a pedicure in weeks. Like,
There you
does
go.
it matter? No.
The best of us.
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah,
Yeah.
To be grateful, to be able to
Yeah.
find those things when times are tough, I think is the key to our own personal peace. When you see someone have that type of attitude, or someone, you can even turn that
Yeah.
around and be like, I'm grateful I'm not having their day today. I'm
Yeah.
grateful that my day is not as going as bad as theirs. That is honoring them and honoring their struggles and their days, not putting them down or judging them, and also turning it into a grateful thing to remind you
Yeah.
you might have some bad days, but today's a good one.
Of course. One of the Facebook users wrote down, grumpy and complaining repels. Yeah, the more grumpier you are, the more attitude you have, right?
Yeah.
We have a lot of grumpy cats.
And the point is to just not take that in.
Yeah.
To be able to rise above those and to remain grateful, because it is contagious. Says it right. Again,
I have learned when I'm in a good state, I have my days. I'm very sensitive to energy. So if there's new moon, full moon, or anything going on with Pluto returns or Mercury retrograde, I'm like, yeah, I feel it the most. I have my days, but generally I'm a happy person. So this morning I went into Trader Joe's right off. I saw my new girlfriend on the street. And I had a little bit challenging morning because drivers were crazy. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? So I go into Trader Joe's and I have like two salespeople, and they were like, they saw me and they started shining. They immediately like started talking to me. They're very happy when they see me because it's my go-to Trader Joe's in the Valley. And I made their day. And, today's International Women's Day. So happy International Women's Day, by the way. And, she said to me, happy International Women's Day. I said, hey, right back at you. Then I saw my other sales lady, and she just had a smile when she saw me. So sometimes when we have gratitude with a positive mind, state of mind, then we, it's fantastic. So we can help others as well, taking them out of their grumpiness or whatever problems they have. A smile can change a lot. There's people that you walk away from, and there's people that you can brighten up. So you are, a little shining star. You, Sherry, and you, Michelle, because you guys are positive.
Well, and one of my mantras is be the love that you want to attract.
Yeah. I like, if you see someone without a smile, give them yours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some other person just wrote down, do you bring light to a room or darkness? People notice. It's just is when you come in with a, bright, shiny.
They do. Yeah, talking about grocery stores a few years ago, I had gone in to get a card at our neighborhood grocery store and went to pull it out. And this woman that had passed me on the way in, she was going in the opposite direction. And all of a sudden she was standing there and she said, I have to tell you, you just glow. And I was just like, oh, thank you. And, never stopped to say, what's your name and try to get to know her or anything. I just was like so taken aback because I've had people say that in churches and centers, but not just out there in the middle of a, grocery store and stuff. But, in a flash, she was gone again. But I just thought that was the coolest thing. But apparently she was seeing an aura.
Sometimes you need evaluation, and the universe sends you messages, and that's why you're a speaker. That's why you travel and you preach the word of goodness, whatever that might be.
Yeah, Sherry will tell you I'll talk whether I know anything about it or not.
Improvise.
Well, it's a campfire. That's what we're here for. I have a feeling that this is Anna. Is that Anna? She was having problems with StreamYard last week, but I have a feeling that's Anna. Hello, Anna. You should be sitting here with us. Check out Smile by Spike Milligan, an English comedian. Okay.
Hi, David.
Hello, David. No. Oh, it's Zanker. Should have been.
Hi, Mike.
Yeah, hi, Zanker. Ava, Zanker is my resident. My mind just went blank. He teases me, provokes me on almost every show, and gets me going. Tries to make me laugh during the most awkward times. But I am so grateful for him. Heckler, thank you. Yes, he has to tell me what he actually is. It's available on the internet. Okay, cool, David. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people come to me and call me Sunshine. Hey, Sunshine, those types of things. That's been happening since I was little, and I think it's because I smile. I was raised in the evangelical, so I smile on cue. It's my worth was attributed to that as a child. But I think that again, it just especially here in California, like Florida, people are more communal, I would say, and that's a weird thing to say because of the state of Florida, but here there's so many people and they don't look at each other. They'll walk by each other on the street. They don't talk. And that's just completely foreign to me. So if I see someone, I'm usually going to smile. And I can't tell you how many times, well, Ava's sitting here right now as part of it, but people are shocked. They're like, are you okay? Are you flirting with
there's
me?
different parts of California. We're like in the valley. So I have my people when I walk. Usually people, you're right. Some look past from each other and some just notice each other and give each other smiles.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I noticed you from the beginning, like from day one, and I felt like you have good energy. Like I saw
thank you.
The doggies out, and it's just sometimes it's what you hear, from the vibe. Sometimes it's you see the vibe, sometimes you hear when people speak, but they used to be different. I mean, I've been 16 years in California, and it used to be different. It used to be more, hey, how are you? Now it's like everybody passing each other.
It's sad, I think. So what are some, it's the Red Bull. Or because if it was the weed, people would be all talking to each other. Um,
Or sleeping.
yeah, exactly. Eating, sleeping, talking, one of the, any of those. So
And
besides,
everything would be so profound.
I know, right? Total thought moments. So besides a gratitude list, is there anything else that we can do to trigger those thoughts during the day to get that top of mind when we're bludgeoned by life?
So I learned that when I do things that make me feel good, this is when I'm more grateful. Sometimes it's, your favorite meal, your favorite drink. It doesn't mean it has to be alcoholic. Sometimes it's a walk outside in nature, or you exercise and you release the hormones, what's it called, endorphins. Here I am making up new words.
It sounded like a pretty good
We'll use it.
Let's stick with endorphins. Okay. So sometimes it's like the little things, or you go shopping, you buy one little thing, and or you have a nice conversation. So it's little things. Like I said, start with little things. It sounds like, oh, it's nothing to it. Well, do those little things all day long. Let's see how that works.
Yeah.
Right. And like I said, when you wake up, just like you said earlier, perfect gratitude, 5 or 10 things that you're grateful for, and then do things that make you feel good, or, just keeping things during the day. And that's going to unlock a lot. What you can also do is, since we are in, good technology these days, you can put yourself a time where you have, like at 1 p.m., a little reminder. Hey, you're beautiful, or hey, you're worthy, or hey, you're enough. So during the day, you can do that too if you have problems with that. And if you're not a person of, hey, I'm going to take a pen and, a notebook, just put it in your timer. And then even at night, when you forget, you can have during the day all those little reminders like, hey, today is beautiful, or you are beautiful, little things that make you feel good. And with that, you just raise the vibration. You will have days where you see it or hear it and be like, nah, I don't care today. I don't feel like it. It's okay to have that day too. But generally speaking, I think that would be also a very good idea, to put yourself a timer with, hey.
As a reminder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for somebody that works, if they just do something during their lunchtime or their break times to kind of break up the days with things like that. And for me, the first thing that comes to my mind is come back to the moment.
Yeah.
That because so much of the time that we spend thinking isn't about what's going on in the moment and appreciating what's going on in the moment, or what we're seeing or we're experiencing. We're somewhere out there. Right. And it's like, remember to come back to the moment.
Sometimes we're on a road trip, and we're just saying, hey, we're going to San Francisco from LA, right? So here's the thing. Yes, the outcome is San Francisco. Don't ask about the how, but why don't appreciate in the meantime, driving through
the journey,
whatever it is, and enjoy the nature of things, whether you drive from the coast up or you take the 5, right? Why don't you enjoy, the music that's playing while you're driving there, the conversations you have with someone that is with you in the car to take that trip. It's also sometimes being in the moment and enjoying exactly what you do, just like you said.
Well, it's about the climb, as Miley Cyrus would say, right? And I feel the compulsion to sing "It's About the Climb," but I'm going to spare all you guys that. It is really hard to be grateful and not present, because being grateful takes you out of your head. It takes you out of the fear. It takes you out of the worries, which is why I forced myself to come up with at least 10. Because I knew that if I did it too easily, it was mindless, it was those types of things, that I wasn't really switching my mentality to a grateful moment. It was more of a habit. It was more of just writing things down to get through the task. Mm-hmm. Now, after doing it year and a half, maybe, I find myself going over the 10. And those are like, oh, it's a good day. I found a whole bunch of things too. But I think that, if you say, well, I've done this, I need to just move on, that kind of defeats the purpose. I think that in order to make it a practice and to get into the habit of doing so, you got to push yourself to do so. I could be wrong on this, but to change the synapses in your head from one of fear, from one of anger or whatever it is, and to switch it over to gratitude, I don't think it's easy. Like I said, there were days that I just like, the sky's blue is today. It's warm. I don't know what else to be thankful for.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
There's nothing that's too big and nothing that's too small. There isn't any perfect formula. It's what you genuinely are feeling gratitude for.
Yeah. And now I have to address this because Anchor put this up here. I got my turn signal fixed yesterday. It wasn't because I was angry. It was because the car's 17 years old. But yes, I do have a blinker again. I have all of those things. That wasn't because of anger. Age. David, good night, my love. Thank you so much for being on the show. He is in the UK, Ava, so that's why he has to go to bed.
Oh, wow. He has like 7 a.m. in the morning then, or what? No, he has like 1 p.m.
Midnight. Yeah, it's midnight for him right now. So yes, thank you so much, David. I will see you.
Sleep well, David.
Yes, I am grateful for you. Okay, so we still have a few minutes. Any other sage advice or things that we can do to create more gratitude in the world, not only with us, but possibly with other people?
Well, I think the same way I said, I have one of my mantras is the love that you are is what you get back. I think it works with gratitude too, because again, that's that high frequency, high vibration, high energy. Mm-hmm. And so if you're putting out gratitude, that vibration, that energy is going to be going out all around you. We often in meditation, we'll start by sending it to other people in the same room and then go beyond the walls into the street or the community. And then seeing it travel across the country and across the oceans and around the globe, so that even though I don't know how far it's actually traveling, we're visualizing it and we're affirming that intention that the energy is traveling, and that even things like trees and animals, it's like everything it touches will be infused with it. And for everything that is touched, I think it makes things a little bit better.
The butterfly effect of gratitude. I love it.
That's true. For me as a healer, I always send healing to the whole world at this point. We really desperately need it.
Yeah.
Sometimes more, sometimes less. I have my days, but generally speaking, I learned through meditation. Even if you're not a healer, as in, trained healers, I am, but even if you just, like send healing to the world, like a, ray of light or love to the world, to the people will get that. Mm-hmm. Usually. And you don't, you can do little things where you just say, I'm grateful for world peace. I'm grateful for, whatever it is. If you want other people to get what you have, and just, I'm grateful that most people are at peace with themselves. You can also implement thoughts into others if they're positive. Usually it works vice versa, negative.
I think I would choke on that though. Because it'd be like, I'm thankful for world peace, just makes me want to choke, because we're so far from reality. I mean, there's that.
Right, but if you want to get there, you need to see the end picture, because this is temporary. And it started.
And picture it. Actually picture it and feel how it feels to have world peace.
It's not going to make you feel 100% great. But you just, when I send healing, I just visualize that there's world peace. Even if chaos is in the world and maybe we have more war, I don't know. I just, it's a chain reaction right now. People have a spiritual awakening. So that's a great thing. And the more healing you send for them, the more people will be awakened. And spirituality is just like we talked. It's love, it's peace, it's acknowledging our religions. And the one universal language of religion is love, period. Mm-hmm. There's nothing else. So if you just send love, you can envision send, like, I don't know, like a pink light over, all over the world, and little things. You just need to see the end picture. Don't ask the
Yeah.
how. That's the fear. When we take that away, then it shifts.
Like there's a part in the Passover service where they say next year in Jerusalem.
Mhm.
And I finally asked a rabbi around 25 years ago, I was like, why do you always say next year? Next year never comes. Why don't you say this year or today in Jerusalem? And he's like, I don't know. We just read what's in the book. Yeah. But it's that kind of thing. If you say we want world peace, we're caught up in the want.
Thank
That's
you.
not something that we have in the
I
moment.
couldn't
I
agree
love
more. Thank
that.
you. Exactly. You take out the want, you visualize it's here already. That's what I said from the get-go. In order for you to get what you want, you visualize it's there. If we say we could want this in the future to 50 years from now. I don't do 50 years from now. I might not be alive anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
probably positively not going to be old. But if we visualize it's now, in the here and now, we have world peace. We have an enlightenment. We have people waking up. We have people supporting each other and helping each other. And that's a good start.
So,
and focusing on what's good in our lives, what's good in other people's lives, the things that we want there to be, rather than the things, the things that we're for rather than the things we're against, is what it comes down to.
well,
that's
and
really
isn't it the epitome of fake it till you make it? In like the best way, because it's like
until you make it is
Well,
exactly what we're doing.
and that's what I said when you first start practicing gratitude and saying the things you're grateful for. If you're not really feeling it, it's okay, because that's why it's a practice. That eventually you start feeling it, but having the intention gets you part way there, and the rest of the way there is having the feeling, because that's what's going out into the universe. That's what's really being picked up on, is the energy. And if you don't really feel it, it's not going to go anywhere.
Wayne Dyer's power of intention changed my life. Completely changed my life, especially, again, coming from an evangelical background where I lived my whole life in fear. The shift in from fear to positive intention through gratitude, through hope, through love, literally changed my life. It changed everything. It went from a constant chaos of like almost me dodging the bullets of life to okay, I can handle this. So intention is key, and that's why I love the fake it till you make it thing. As long as it's intended and as long as it's still genuine, as opposed to hypocritical, I'm good with that.
Yep.
Okay, we are at the top of the hour. Ava, Michelle, thank you so much. I am grateful for you. Thank you all for letting us into your homes tonight. Ava, I have a banner for you. What is your final words, and where can people find you?
So thank you for having me. Once again, it was lovely talking to you, to both ladies. I am available at cosmicenergylife.com. That's my website. And you can book personal coaching sessions or psychic consultations. I'm a healer, so I can help you with that too. This Saturday, I do have a class which is going to help you attract abundance. And we're going to dissect the negativity to turn it into positivity.
Nice. Any final words of wisdom? You dropped a lot on us today, so if not, that's okay.
Start small. Start small.
I love it. I love it. Michelle, thank you so much for sitting by the fire with us again tonight. Your wisdom is always appreciated, adored.
I enjoyed it. And I'll ditto on what Eva said. If you're not used to incorporating gratitude into your daily practices, do start small. Just start with a couple, or even just one. If you don't do anything but wake up in the morning and say, thank you, God, I'm still alive. You can start there if you need to. The way you can reach me would be through Michelle Savacco Ministries on Facebook, or go to my personal page, which is just Michelle Saveco.
Or find her on the show as often as I can grab her.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ladies. I will kick you guys to backstage and see you
Thank
right
you.
after the show.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I hope you guys got as much out of that as I did. I think that reminders of what really makes life worth living, and being a part of this planet is gratitude, is community, it's all of those things. So I thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I will see you next week. Be sure to walk in love, because that's all that matters. Have a great day. Mwah. Talk to you soon.